They're happy now.
All right, you're gonna walk around the quarter, have a seat to my left.
That one made me feel like my skin like dry.
Would you please introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Ray Hermosillo. I'm
He's
employed with the
back.
Rexburg Police Department.
Where's Rexburg Police Department?
Rexburg is a little town.
You guys remember who this is, right? He was the investigator in Charles Bellows' case. He was the investigator for Charles's.
In southeast Idaho.
How long have you worked for the Rexburg Police Department?
The kids
I've been with Rexburg since 2001.
And can you tell us your different jobs or duties over the years at that department?
Sure. I started in patrol in 2001 as a normal patrolman. I worked patrol for about 18 years before I was promoted to detective in 2019. During that 18 years, I was able to obtain numerous certificates. I currently hold a supervisor certificate and an advanced certificate through Post Academy. In 2019, I was promoted to detective. I currently am a lieutenant over the detective division.
So in 2019, you were working as a detective in Rexburg. How big is that city?
Rexburg is roughly probably 40,000.
Okay. How many detectives are there?
Currently, we have 7 detectives for the 40,000 people.
This is the one
And
Colby's
back in
close with.
2019?
About the same, 7.
And did you cover sort of any investigations in every investigation as a detective in Rexburg?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to bring you to November 1st of 2019. Did you speak with a detective, Nolan McDermott, from the Gilbert Police Department here in Arizona?
I did.
Were you asked to aid the Gilbert Police Department by locating and impounding a 2018 Jeep Wrangler with a Texas license plate LWD 0997?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you provided with an address where that Jeep might be located?
I was.
Are you familiar with 565 Pioneer Road?
Yes, Rock Creek townhomes.
Okay, so those are townhomes. Are there multiple units there?
Correct.
Were you provided with a unit 175 that would potentially be relevant to this case?
Yes, I was told that 175 was where I needed to focus. 175, 174.
When you were given this information, were you provided with a probable cause statement from Detective McDermott?
I was on November 1st of 2019.
And knowing that you were going to be looking for this Jeep to seize it, did you obtain a search warrant?
Yes, I did.
So on November 1st, did you go out to 565 Pioneer Road, Unit 175?
Yes, we did.
Did you go with someone else?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Did you go with someone else or were you by yourself?
No, I went with other detectives.
And what did you do when you got out there?
We were asked by Gilbert Police to perform intermittent surveillance to see if we can locate the 2018 Jeep Wrangler. So that's exactly what we did. We went out, performed surveillance, and we were unable to locate the Jeep on November 1st.
Now, had you been provided with the name Lori Vallow?
Yes.
Had you been provided with the name Alexander Cox?
Yes, we have.
Were you looking for the Jeep that belonged to Lori Vallow?
Correct.
Okay. When you were doing surveillance of Unit 175, did you take any photos of the individuals who you saw going into and out of that residence?
We did. We took a couple photos of some individuals coming out of the garage and going into the garage area of 175.
Did you see that person go into any vehicles?
We did.
Was that a male or female you saw?
That was a female, Lori Vallow.
Do you see that person that you saw going in and out of Unit 175 and getting in and out of the vehicle that you saw in Rexburg, Idaho on November 1st in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Can you point her out and tell us what she's wearing?
She is at the defendant's table in a blue coat with a light blue shirt and red glasses.
All right, may the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant.
Good job.
I thought she was going to say objection for a second there.
Did you, in fact, follow Miss Vallow in a vehicle to another location and back to the Unit 175?
We did. We followed her to Walgreens in Rexburg off of Main Street, and then followed her back to her residence at 175.
What kind of vehicle was she driving at that time?
Blue Nissan Rogue.
I've shown defendant exhibits 126 and 127. I may have my paralegal.
This is Catnip's favorite part. The collagen bubbles
You
through.
said you took photos of those. I'm showing you 126 and 127. Can you let me know if you recognize those? Do you recognize those as photos taken from surveillance on November 1st of 2019?
Yes, ma'am.
State will move to admit 126 and 127.
I know you do.
Any objection?
Just relevant, Your Honor.
They're admitted. 126, 127.
And you told us that
He cracks me up. He doesn't even explain it. He just
that the defendant, Ms. Vallow, was driving a blue Nissan Rogue. Did that have an Arizona license plate of CRT 2994?
Yes, ma'am.
We're showing here exhibit 126. I'm going to pull out some,
that's her main objection and points relevance.
although we can't really see well. When there's no glare, is
Right, Jessica?
Ms. Vallow going into the residence here?
That is correct. That's Miss Vallow.
And this is unit 175.
Correct.
And
I'm
then
mistaken,
127
that's
is her
Colby's
going
car.
further into it, albeit the glare here, we can't really see that.
Yes, ma'am.
So did you find the Jeep that you were looking for, that 2018 Jeep with the Texas plates when you were there on November 1st?
No, we did not. Not on November 1st.
Did you search the whole complex?
We did.
So did you go back again later to try to locate the Jeep?
Yes, we looked for the Jeep. November 1st was a Friday in 2019. We looked for the Jeep all weekend and were unable to locate it. I was finally able to locate it Monday morning, November 4th.
So did you went back to look again on Monday morning to 565 Pioneer Road and you saw the Jeep?
I was on my way home from the gym and looked over to my right and saw the Jeep parked outside of apartment 175.
What did you do when you saw it?
I had Erickson Tow Company seize the Jeep and tow it to our impound lot.
Is that an internal or external lot?
We have both external and internal, but we towed it.
I'll claim that that's my reason for not going anywhere too, is because of these trials. It has nothing to do with me not being a paranoid, antisocial person at all.
And put it inside our impound lot. Inside.
Did you let the Gilbert Police Department know you had located and seized that Jeep?
Yes, ma'am, we did.
Did you attempt to contact Lori Vallow to let her know you took the Jeep?
We did several times that day. We made attempts to go over and knock on the door to let Miss Vallow know that we had her Jeep in case they wondered if it was stolen or impounded. And we were unable at any time to make contact with Miss Vallow, and nobody had called the police department stating their Jeep was missing either.
So you never received a call from Lori Vallow to report her Jeep stolen?
No,
Never got a call from Alex Cox saying a Jeep was stolen?
no.
So you have the Jeep on the 4th of November. Do you coordinate with the Gilbert Police Department for them to come to Rexburg, Idaho to be able to process
No.
the Jeep?
We did.
Did you in fact author the search warrant for them to be able to take things like DNA swabs and GSR kits and things
I
like that?
love this thing.
Yes,
Were you present when that search warrant was executed on November 18th of 2019?
yes, I was.
Were you just watching and allowing them to do the processing?
That's correct.
When you were there on November 18th, as well as when you impounded the Jeep, did you note anything about the tinting on the rear windows of that Jeep?
I noticed that the tinting on the Jeep was extremely dark. It appeared darker than Idaho state law allows.
From the outside,
I think
trying to
that's
look inside,
the
were
least
you
of their
able to see
concerns.
into the vehicle?
Not unless I got right up to the window.
Did you learn during this investigation that that Jeep had been taken to Dan Moss's tinting on September 25th to have those windows tinted?
I did learn that later on in the investigation, yes.
Okay.
They got the
But at
windows
that time, you
tinted for
did not know
this?
that.
That's correct.
On December 18th of 2019 was a second search warrant executed on that Jeep Wrangler.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you author that search warrant as well?
I did.
And were you again present for the execution of that search warrant?
Yes, I was.
Were photographs taken of the Jeep?
Yes, they were.
Were photographs taken of receipts inside the Jeep?
Yes.
When the Jeep was being processed on December 18th and photographs were taken of the receipts, did you note a receipt inside that was related to or that came from Arizona?
Yes, I did.
Did you notice a receipt from Arizona that was from October 1st of 2019?
Yes, I did.
Understanding
Trina K tying it all together and putting a bow on it and everything.
that you were being asked by the Gilbert Police to investigate a shooting on October 2nd, did you feel that was relevant?
Yes, ma'am.
You're being dramatic.
Shown the defendant exhibits 128 through 134. If I can have my paralegal approach.
I love the way this stuff smells. Hi, Patricia. It's the NYX Smushy. It's only available in the TikTok shop. Catnip told me about them, so I bought one. It's matte, so it's not going to be wet and shiny. It does a matte
Do you
finish.
recognize those as photos taken of the Jeep from the search warrant that was executed on December 18?
Yes, ma'am.
State will move to admit 128 through 134.
Any objection?
We
No
do.
objection.
128 through 134.
And it loves us right the hell back because it takes all our money. Look how thin my eyebrows are.
So 128, were these just some overall photos of this Jeep?
Yes, that's correct.
In 129, do we see a tag from Texas that also reflects the license plate number up here, the LWD
No
0997?
worries.
Yes.
No worries. We'll see you tomorrow for the rest of Karen Reed's trial. I have the best eyebrow liner. I just took it all off, so I'm trying to decide if I want to put it back on. It's called Rimmel Brow This Way.
Is this, again, the side to show that dark tinting on that?
Correct.
That's the license plate that was on the Jeep that you impounded?
Yes, ma'am.
Does that show the whole back of the Jeep?
Yes.
I know you were present both on November 18th and now on December 18th, a month later. When this Jeep was being processed with this tire on it, Were you guys able to open that rear window while the tire was still on the Jeep?
No, we weren't able to.
And then is this the other side of the Jeep itself?
Correct.
In Exhibit 134, does this show sort of different receipts and stuff found in the Jeep itself?
Yes.
And does that include focus? A receipt from Los Favoritos at 5351 South Power Road in Mesa, Arizona?
Correct.
Life.
And does it show a date of October 1 of 2019?
Yes.
And
She will
although
never
it's
get
getting
out.
blurry here, is it the timestamp 1312 hours?
Yes, it is.
So this
a little
receipt,
better.
let me ask you this. From the time that you impounded the Jeep on November 4th, was it always in your custody until this executed search warrant on December 18th?
Yes, it was.
And so this Jeep that you impounded on November 4th had a receipt from October 1st of 2019 at 1312 hours from a restaurant in Mesa, Arizona.
That's correct.
And you were aware at that time that Brandon Boudreaux had been shot at on October 2nd of 2019?
Yes, ma'am.
So this was from the day before.
Right.
My wrinkles are looking a little bit better.
When you were working with the Gilbert Police Department, you told us that you had done some surveillance from November 1st until you recovered the Jeep on November 4th. Later in November, did you have some additional time to do surveillance at the 565 Pioneer Road? Specifically November 26th.
Yes, we did.
On November 26th, did
Yes.
you have contact with a person by the name of Chad Daybell?
Yes, I did.
On November 26th of 2019, who did you understand that to be in relation to Lori Vallow?
Lori's current husband.
Was there anyone with Chad Daybell when you saw him on November 26th?
It was also Lori's brother, Alex Cox, that was with Chad.
If you think that Lori will cross the smile face, if you think she will have no questions, the cry face.
Daybell at that time.
Can you describe for us the circumstance you saw these two on November 26th? Where were they? Were they around a vehicle, around a townhome?
So when we made contact with Chad, and Alex, they were unloading Alex's pickup truck, unloading items from the back of it into the garage of apartment 175. And that's when I initially made contact with both of them.
You said that they were getting out of a vehicle. What kind of vehicle was it?
It was a gold Ford pickup truck.
Was it a Ford F-150?
Yes,
Do you recall if it had Arizona plates on it?
it did have Arizona plates.
Were
I believe
they, I guess, personalized plates?
they were personalized.
Was that a CPQUINT?
Yes, CP Quint.
At this time, when you are at this apartment complex on November 26th, is it your understanding that Lori Vallow is living at those Rock Creek townhomes?
That's correct.
That girl got around.
Was it your understanding at that time that Alex
Hi,
Cox was
Patricia.
living in
How
the
are
Rock
you?
Creek townhomes as well? On November 26th.
At that time, yes, we knew he was at the Rock Creek townhomes.
I've shown the defendant exhibit 135. I can have my paralegal approach.
Thank you.
Is that just sort of an aerial overview of the Rock Creek Apartments that we're talking about
Yes, it is.
at 565 Pioneer Road?
Yes, ma'am.
And does that show where Unit 175 is?
It does.
State will move to admit 135.
It's gonna be
Any objection?
crazy.
Just foundation, Your Honor.
135 is admitted.
She doesn't even know what that means. I'm doing good, thanks.
Okay.
Crazy Lori here.
So we see here, this is Pioneer Road. Is this the Rock Creek Townhomes?
Yes, it is.
Using Exhibit 135, are you able to tell us approximately where Unit 175 is located?
Is there a pointer I can use, or?
Could he point to the
Behind you.
TV behind you?
Look behind.
Mostly it's
If you
relevant.
could get up and,
Go ahead.
You'll
Thank
see
you.
it will mostly be relevant when she says it.
so if you could point to, yeah.
175, the back of 175 is roughly here, and the front door is this way. So the garage, where I first made contact with Alex and Chad both, were right back here.
Detective, maybe if you could go to this side. Sorry, just the other side so
You
the
don't
jury
have to
didn't have to
shout,
look through you.
Trinity.
Thank you.
You almost took out my
The Jeep
hearing.
was located on November 4th, parked in a stall right here.
So that's where you located it on the 4th. And that's right near the 175 you were describing?
Correct, right in front of the 175 garage.
Now, you told us that you also knew that at that time Alex Cox was living at the Rock Creek Townhomes. Can you show us where that was, what unit that was, approximately?
107 is where Alex Cox was living, and it was roughly here, the front door to 107.
Okay. During this time on November 26th, did you learn that a Melanie Boudreau was also living at the Rock Creek Townhomes?
Yes, I did.
What unit did she live in?
She lived in 174, which is right next door to Ms. Vallo's residence.
Thank you. You can be seated now.
Keep in mind, Melanie was trying to get the kids from Brandon. She was living next door to Lori. And Alex? And Chad? Look at what happened to Lori's kids. Thank God she didn't get them.
Now, did you become, I guess, were documentation obtained along with an affidavit for the rental application for Lori Vallow to live at 565 Pioneer Road?
Yes, they were.
Did the documentation show her as renting unit 107?
Yes, it showed Lori Vallow as the renter of apartment 107.
Did you ever see her over at apartment 107?
No, I didn't.
So on November 1st, you saw her at 175?
That's correct.
I concur. Good choice.
Your Honor, the state will move to admit Exhibit 162, which is pursuant to 803 and 902 with the affidavit authenticating them from the custodian of records.
All right. Any objection?
No objection.
Can you give me the number again?
162.
162 is admitted.
So 162, we see the application for Lori Vallow to rent 565 Pioneer Road number 7. Is that correct?
Number 107, yes.
107. And that was submitted on August 14th?
Correct, the way I understand it.
And did that indicate a vehicle of a Jeep Wrangler with the LWD 0997?
Yes,
That's the Jeep that you impounded on the 4th?
that's correct.
And did it also indicate a Nissan Rogue blue no license plate at that time?
That is true.
Correct.
And is that the type of vehicle that you had seen Lori Vallow driving when you were doing surveillance on the 1st of November?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you told us that Alex Cox also lived in this townhome complex. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And do you know what unit he rented in his paperwork? Was it 175?
Yes, Alex was a renter in apartment
Not
175.
too much. Just Lori Daybell.
Now, we're talking about November 26th, where you're doing some surveillance. You have interactions with Chad Daybell and with Alex Cox outside of Unit 175.
Correct.
Did you go to Unit 105 to see if Lori Vallow was there?
We went to Unit 107
107, yeah, I'm sorry.
to see if Lori was there, and there was nobody there at that apartment.
Were you aware then that the rental paperwork for Alex Cox, along with an affidavit authenticating those records being kept in the normal course of business, was obtained from the Rooftop Real Estate Management Company for Alex Cox's rental of Unit 175?
Yes, we didn't obtain that on the 26th of November, but later throughout the investigation, yes, ma'am.
Correct. State will
We're
move to admit
supposed
those
to be.
pursuant to 803 and 902.
I don't
Exhibit
think she ever got
160.
that far.
Any objection?
No objection.
160 is admitted.
And so, although this is a tough thing to read, do we see the 26th day of August of 2019, Alexander Cox?
Yes.
And does the letter from the Realty Management say that Alex Cox had rented 565 Pioneer at Unit 175?
That's correct.
Now, you told us that on the 26th of November, you had contact with Chad Daybell and Alex Cox near Unit 175. Did you go to Unit 175 to see if anyone was inside there?
We knocked on apartment 175. We also knocked on apartment 174, which is where Lori's niece lived, to see if maybe they were over there. And we were unable to make contact with anybody at all three apartments.
Okay. Now, the next day on November 27th, were search warrants executed on units 107, 174, and 175?
Yes, they were.
Was anyone home in any three of these residences when they were executed?
No, there was not.
I'm going to talk about Unit 107, the one that was in the rental paperwork rented to Lori Vallow. Can you describe for us what you saw when you went into that unit?
Apartment 107 was completely vacant.
Yes.
It looked like everybody had moved out. There wasn't anything in the entire apartment, so we assumed that nobody had lived there because it was vacant.
So no furniture,
No, ma'am.
no groceries,
Nothing. Like it was ready to be moved in for a new tenant.
okay? When you went into Unit 175, where you had seen Miss Vallow going into previously after making the trip to the Walgreens on November 1st, what did it look
Looking
like
that way.
inside that unit?
So 175 was different. There was furniture, food in the pantry, food in the refrigerator, beds. It looked like somebody was living there. But as we went upstairs into the master bedroom and other bedrooms, the entire closet was completely empty, other than just empty hangers. So it looked like somebody had just grabbed everything hanging. There were no clothes, and just took off with what they had.
Were photographs taken inside Unit 565 of 565 Pioneer Road, Unit 175 during that search warrant?
Yes, photos and also a video.
Okay. Did each of these units have their own garage as well?
They did.
So I'm going to start with the interior of that residence. When you were inside Unit 175, did you see any documentation in there relating to renting a storage unit for Lori Vallow?
Yes, we did. We found a rental agreement in the master bedroom on what I believe to be was a copier, where it detailed the address of the storage unit, self-storage plus, and also the storage unit number, which was C52.
I wonder if I've shown the defendant Exhibit 136 through 138, if my paralegal can approach.
They're so close, they're towing that line. How are you, Connie?
Is that showing sort of the outside of the unit
you.
and then a photograph of that document that you located that you just told us about?
Yes, ma'am.
State will move to admit 136 through 138.
Any objection?
No objection.
136 through 138 are admitted.
Okay. So
I agree with you.
137, do we see the front of units 175? Oops.
Yes, cut off.
Let me pull out.
There you go. Yes, 175. It's the one with the toys out front.
Where would 174
Sorry.
be in relation to this?
To the left of that apartment.
So
Yep,
this
right
one?
over there.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I hope you feel
So
better.
this apartment was technically rented to Alex Cox, but inside it had some indicia of Lori Vallow.
That's correct.
I'm putting up 138. So when we see this, we see at the top you said C52. Is that a storage unit location?
Lori's.
That's the number of the storage unit at the storage location, correct?
Okay. And down here, do we see a date when this was executed?
Yes, October 1st, 2019.
And what name
Doing
is
good.
on
How are
this?
you?
Lori Ryan.
Did you learn in your investigation that Lori Vallow, before she became Lori Vallow, was Lori Ryan?
That's correct.
Fun fact, well, it's not a fun fact, but a fact on that. Lori Ryan's third husband also died of supposed natural causes, just like who? Alex Cox.
So she was Lori Ryan, then Lori Vallow, and now Lori Daybell?
Correct.
Does this show the location of the storage facility?
Yes, it does.
Self-storage plus at 433 Airport Road?
Yes.
You've got to remember, she was still collecting on Social Security for Tylee and survivor spouse. She was starting to do the same thing with JJ when they unalived Charles, but she got caught.
Yes, ma'am.
Where is that in relation to 565 Pioneer Road? Is it far away?
No, it's roughly probably a half a mile north. If you stay on Pioneer, you'll run right into Airport Road. It is on the north side of Main Street, so about a half a mile away.
Inside the residence, did you see any like women's clothing or anything else like that that appeared to be consistent with Lori Vallow? And I know you told us most of it was gone.
We found women's clothing in the garage in apartment 175.
So in the garage, can you describe for us what the garage was like? I mean, what did you see when you went into the garage? Were there cars in there?
No, so in the garage of 175, there were boxes. It appeared people had been moving things into the garage of 175. So there were plastic containers full of various items. There were boxes full of clothes. There were prepper barrels for water storage. Just various different things that it looked like people had moved in.
So in addition to having furniture and clothing and all sorts of stuff, did you find any paperwork in the garage that was related to Alex Cox?
We did.
Things like passports and bills.
Correct.
Did you find any weapons in the garage?
We found several weapons in the garage, yes.
Now, since you were working with the Gilbert Police Department, had you been advised that Brandon Boudreaux had seen a rifle barrel come out of the Jeep Wrangler and then fire at him?
Correct.
So were you looking for any rifles when you were going through that garage?
Yes, we were.
Did you photograph all of those?
We did.
I've shown defendant exhibits 139 through 159. If I can have my paralegal approach.
Go ahead.
Something ingested, I think, too. But it didn't just start there. Think of her third husband. She had him cremated right away so he couldn't be exhumed and tested. They almost got away with Tammy. They had to exhume her. And Alex missed the shot on Tammy. He tried to do the same thing that he tried with Brandon. He missed them too. Sadly, she probably has, and she's probably gotten away with it. With more than we could imagine. I'm trying to remember. Not asphyxiation. What was it? I'll look it up after. I cannot remember. I think it might have been asphyxiation. But they thought it was an accident. What about spiders?
Do you recognize all of those as photos of sort of the indicia of Alex
spiders.
Cox, as well as the various weapons that were located in the garage of Unit 175?
Yes, ma'am.
The state will move to admit 139 through 159.
Any objection?
Just cumulative, Your Honor. There's like 20 something of those. I don't know how many they actually need.
Can I look at them? admitted.
So, and I think I called you detective earlier, I apologize, Lieutenant. To be clear, Unit 175 was rented by Alex Cox, correct?
Correct.
But on November 1st, you saw Lori Vallow going into that unit.
Correct.
You saw her Nissan Rogue in the
Correct.
and you found her Jeep Wrangler parked near Unit 175.
That's correct.
And 107 that she rented was on the other side of the complex.
Correct.
Was she ever seen in any of the surveillance over at 107?
No.
So in the garage, I'm going to put up exhibit
Thank you, Connie.
139. Did you find indicia such as Alex Cox's passport
Yes, we did.
and things like credit cards for him,
Correct.
tax paperwork for Alex Cox,
Yes.
mail for Alex Cox?
Yes.
As you were going through all of this paperwork in the garage, we can see a little bit here where they're just bins of belongings that appeared to be his in the garage.
Yeah, that's what we assumed. It was his. It was mixed in with his personal effects.
Okay. So you also found clothing in there that appeared to be male,
Yes.
and then
I
furniture.
find
Correct.
You told us that you were looking for any types of weapons. So I have exhibit 145. Did you see sort of a rifle in a case, and 146 showing that rifle?
Yes.
Do we see in 147 another case? And 148, and then 149 showing that rifle.
Correct.
What's this?
That's a scope.
Was there anything on any of these rifles that would indicate you could attach a silencer or anything onto the end?
Yes, there were a few rifles that had threaded barrels. In this photograph, you can see the difference. That is a threaded barrel that you could screw a silencer or suppressor on the end of a rifle.
And so we see sort of some close-up. This seemed to have its own, I guess, to give padding for the person using that.
Correct.
And then showing sort of the scope itself. Was
Yes.
there in
Thank you
that
for the
bag
follow.
ammunition with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Were there boxes of ammunition?
Yes.
Was there all kinds of ammunition?
There was a lot of ammunition.
Were there extra rifle barrel parts?
Correct.
Were each of those laid out to be photographed, that of the rifles that were located?
Yes.
So we see in 156 is that one of the rifles that was located.
Yes.
157 was that one of the other rifles that was located.
we don't know what happened to her other sister. Why she claimed or related with the Black Widow? Because she has a tendency to unalive people that she's close with.
Yes.
158, another rifle that was located.
Yes, ma'am.
Alex Cox.
And then 159, what do we see here and here? Are those extra parts?
Different uppers for rifles. Correct.
Tammy was Chad's
So
wife.
these could be changed out with the stock.
Yes.
She's not accused of doing anything with Black Widows. I just nicknamed her the Black Widow because of what the Black Widow does. Yeah. You
We
can't see
heard that you
firearms.
also executed a search warrant on 565 Pioneer Road, Unit 174. Was that the unit you told us was rented by Melanie Boudreau?
Correct.
When you were executing this search warrant, were you aware that Melanie Boudreau had been married to Brandon Boudreau, the individual who was the victim in this case you're helping Gilbert with?
Yes.
So during this search warrant of Unit 175, you learned that Lori Vallow had rented that Unit C52 at the Self-Storage Plus business in Rexburg, Idaho.
Right.
And were video and an affidavit authenticating the surveillance video obtained later from the Self-Storage Plus?
Yes, it was.
Did you obtain video from the day that Lori Vallow rented the unit on October 1st?
We did.
Did you obtain video from the day of the shooting, October 2nd?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you obtain video from the day after that, October 3rd?
Yes.
Did you obtain video for longer than that, but for our portion, those 3 days?
Correct.
She had both.
Your Honor, the state will move to admit Exhibit 164 pursuant to the affidavit and Rule 803 and 902.
The Nicks or the plant, the
Any objection to
Glenbalm.
164?
Flip Balm.
No, Your Honor.
164 is admitted.
I'm not
Your
sure
Honor, if
which
we can
one I
publish
like
it and
best.
have the detective explain to us some of this.
This is from today, yes. So no spoilers, please. And she was kicked out of the courtroom the other day.
Again, Lieutenant, sorry.
Fine.
You're welcome.
Before we start, in these videos, does the storage unit or storage company have numerous channels showing different aspects of the business?
Yes.
Does channel 1 sort of show the parking lot and entrance and exit to the storage units themselves?
Correct.
And does channel 3 show a driveway outside one of the rows of storage units?
Correct.
And channel 4 shows a different drive outside of this row of storage units?
Correct.
Do we have a channel 5 that shows sort of where the vehicles would park to go into where C52 is?
Yes.
And does channel 11 show actually the hallway of where unit C52 is located?
Correct.
You previously told us that you had done that surveillance on November 11th of 2019, and you saw at Unit 175, Lori Vallow getting out of a blue Nissan Rogue with the Arizona license plate CRT 2994, correct?
No, we previously did that November 1st,
November 1st.
2019.
And that's when you followed her and saw her both driving that vehicle as well as parking it at Unit 175.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a weird feeling. Yes, she does.
When you were watching these videos, did you see that same blue Nissan Rogue with the Arizona license plate CRT 2994 coming and going to the storage unit C52?
We did, yes.
Showing defendant 166 and 167. Approach. You recognize these as stills from the surveillance video from that storage unit business showing the Nissan Rogue that you previously have described as seeing Lori Vallow driving on November 1st of 2019.
Yes, I do.
The state will move to admit Exhibit 166 and 167.
Any objection?
No objection.
They're admitted.
166, and this is a closer up of 167.
Is
And
it
that's
as
the
dangerous?
Nissan Rogue that you saw Lori Ballo in on November.
Is it as dangerous as people say to step away from their religion?
1st driving.
That's correct.
And this is the Nissan Rogue that you see in these videos from the storage unit.
Yes.
You told us that you also obtained video from future dates after October 3rd at the storage unit.
Good,
Correct.
good.
Did you ever see the Ford F-150 with that personalized license plate at the storage facility?
Yes.
Show defendant exhibit 165, identified paralegal approach. Do you recognize that as a still photo of the vehicle that you saw Alex Cox and Chad Daybell getting out of on November 26th at the Pioneer Road Complex Apartments?
Yes, I do.
State will move to admit 165.
No objection.
165 submitted.
So does this show us that on October 6th, the truck with the CPQUINT is seen at that storage unit?
That's correct.
Interesting fact was that Alex was married once before, for maybe like 2 months. They married before his wife met his family. It's when she met the family that she divorced him. Talking about inappropriate things between Lori and Alex, and inappropriate things that the parents said. Like some really weird stuff with that family. Essentially. It's like, how dare you pause me? I pause you. She sure did.
We can now play the video. Starting on October 1st. And as October 1st is the day that the documents show she rented the storage unit, correct?
That's correct.
So this is the
Thank you for
earliest of the
sharing,
videos
Sue.
you were able to obtain.
Yes, ma'am.
And so we're going to go through just some of the relevant ones, ending in the 40809.
In everybody's eyes, they've made it abundantly clear that she changed when she met Chad. Even Colby said that she was a decent mom to him. It was when she met Chad. But who knows?
Do you recognize, is this the storage unit we're talking about?
Yes, it is.
Off to the far right, we see sort of a little wall there with an opening. Is that the entrance back
I
to
agree,
where
Jessica.
the rows of storage units are located?
Yes, that's correct.
And is that the vehicle that you have recognized, Lori
Ruby
Ballard, to have
Frankie.
been driving at least on November 1st?
Yes.
Honestly, there's a lot of parallels between Lori and Ruby. There really is. The difference is that Ruby got caught before the most horrible thing could happen happened. Lori didn't get caught before. And if you guys are not familiar with the Ruby Frankie case, I've got a whole tab on it
We can
above
go
my
to the
videos.
40935 video.
It's not religion, just like it's not all cops are corrupt. It's not. It's people that are taking situations that we're vulnerable to. They're using the situations where we're most vulnerable to hurt us, to find their victims. So they're going to the church, they're going through police because those are our most vulnerable places.
Do we see in this video in about a minute the Nissan come out and a person get out of that vehicle and
Why are they
Go
chasing a
into-
dog?
the facility.
Yes,
And where we see the quad pulling up is the entrance into the business, the office located there.
yes, it is.
And I apologize, we can't go forward. It blacks it out if we try to speed it up.
They left you again, puppy. Up or down?
So is this the Nissan Rogue we've been talking about?
Yes.
Is that good? It shows up on 2 different places for me on both devices, so I never know where it lands for you guys.
We see an individual getting out of the car and going to the office. Do you recognize who that is?
Yes, I do.
Who do you recognize that to be?
Lori.
Lori Vallow.
How do you know that's her? Have you seen her over the last 5 years multiple times?
I've seen her, had interactions with her, so I know that to be Lori Vallow.
Okay. So you recognize the vehicle as well as her?
Yes, ma'am.
I think we can go to the 42009 video.
Thank you.
Just so we're clear, a lot of these videos may just show the car parked there, but as long as the car was there, you guys obtained it.
Correct.
Do you recognize
Yeah, way
someone
too
coming
many.
out now with a paper in their hand?
That's Lori.
And who do you recognize that as?
Also Lori Vallow.
Before, all the fillers started falling. I'm not even kidding.
Was this the only entrance and exit to the storage units, what we see here?
I believe that is, the only exit and entrance.
So whenever someone comes in or out, we see it on this video.
That's correct.
So then the last video, just to show the car leaving, is that the 43224? We could show that.
Hello, Dr. Peppergreen. How are you today? And then she wasn't getting Botox no more, so that went out with a vengeance too.
So we see her leaving at 2:32 in the afternoon.
Is it really?
Correct.
And we talked about
I know
other channels. Can we look at channel 3, driveway A,
I kind of want Botox,
42331?
but she's making me second guess it. 'Cause if that's what you look when you
Channel
don't
3,
get it,
42331. Thank you. Can you
I'll be
describe
putting it
for
on
us
YouTube.
here
Don't worry.
The building and the vehicle there, that's sort of right where we see the 10-1 of 2019. Is that the unit where C52 is
No, you
located?
guys are my nieces.
Yes, it is.
Is that the Nissan Rogue?
Yes, it is.
You guys are my
This
nieces.
is one angle that we see. We talked about there's also an angle from inside the building, correct?
Correct.
And if we can go to, just to show the leaving, 43133 from that same channel 3.
Thank you. I really need to finish setting up that Discord.
So this shows Miss Vallow leaving in her Nissan Rogue.
That's correct.
We go to channel 11 to show the inside of the storage unit, 42305. So this is still October 1st, the day she's rented this, correct?
Yes.
You can't.
Where?
Lori's first trial was not televised. You can go back and hear people saying what happened during then. But Chad Daybell, his trial was. That's one that you could still watch.
Where is Unit 52 or C52?
It's at the end of the hallway on the left-hand side from this camera angle.
Is that the unit that we see this person at?
Yes, ma'am.
And although it's far away, do you recognize who that is?
Absolutely.
Who is that?
Lori Vallow.
And when you follow the timestamps of all of these videos together of the vehicle going in, renting the unit, going through,
Thank
do
you
they
for the
all
follow.
sort of coincide to show her coming from renting the unit to then coming into C52?
They do.
Interestingly, there are some parts that were shown from the end of her first trial. I put them in my videos. There's a whole tab, Lori Vallow Daybell.
In this video, do we see anyone with Lori Vallow as she's putting bins or whatever into this unit?
No.
So she's by herself on the first.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, you guys are my criminal muses.
And then if we can just show channel 5, the 42129.
Interesting fact.
42129.
All Chad's children believe him. Say that he didn't do
And
it.
if we can stop at around 142140. Does this show that Nissan Rogue leaving?
None of his children became Dark or Zombie or anything like
Yes,
that.
it does.
Wonder why.
And did that show the plate, if we back it up a little, which we don't need to do, CRT 299?
Yeah, there's an actual video of her giving her statement to sentencing for her first trial. I did a video on it. I have tabs above my videos. That, if you have not heard it, you cannot miss. It gives you, it tickles your psyche for wanting to know why people do things. The criminology side of it, it's, I can't even say that there's another one like it. Thank you.
4?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It really shows.
I want to go
True
to
Lori.
October 2nd now. Did you obtain footage that showed Lori Vallow driving that Nissan Rogue back to the storage unit again on October 2nd?
Yes, we did.
And so October 2nd is the day of the shooting.
That's correct.
Starting at channel 1, do we see that Nissan arrive in the 32459 video around 1:25 in the afternoon?
I know what it's going to show. Sloppy Lori. That's the question to ask. One of the storage units they went to take the Jeep off the back of Tylee's Jeep so they could use it in this crime. And they're seen putting it in the storage unit and then going back to get it and put it back on afterwards. I know, right? We have enough
Is
crazy in
this
this
the
world.
Nissan
We
Rogue?
don't need any more.
That belongs to Lori Vallow arriving to the storage facility on October 2nd of 2019.
Yes, it is.
The little boy that Lori would continue to ask about would be her son, JJ, that she unalived. Oh, wait, never mind. I
We
totally
can
got
show
it.
channel 3.
Sorry, we've been live for almost 12 hours, so my brain is like even more mushy than usual. I get it, though. I get it now. It just took me a hot minute.
Video
Yeah, I got it now.
32624.
I just was very delayed. Catnip just sent a subscription. Mel, you just got a subscription from Catnip. Thank you, Catnip. You get to play with
Got
the stickers
Nissan Rogue
now.
pulling up to the row that contains unit C52.
Yes.
On October 2nd of 2019,
I'm like expecting the whole chat to be filled with stickers now. She's gonna go nuts with the stickers.
how many people were helping put stuff into the storage unit?
2 people, male and a female.
Did you recognize who those 2 people were?
Oh yeah.
Yes, I did.
Who did you recognize them to be?
Chad and Lori.
Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell.
Idiots.
We show video 32742.
Mel, when you go to type in the comments, there's the smiley face emoji. Next to it, there's a star. That's what you press, and that pulls up all the stickers that you want. Or that we have, anyways.
Those 2 people getting out of the vehicle
Yes.
and going into the building.
Yes.
On this day, did you see these 2 individuals putting any items into unit C52?
Yes.
If we can go to 32830.
Because her first trial was for her children and her current husband's wife. She was found guilty, but it was not televised. Her second trial, which was almost about 2 months ago-ish, was for conspiring to unalive her 4th husband. This is her 3rd trial, conspiring to unalive her niece's former husband. She was going places. But the other ones were in a totally different state. But I have a whole tab on it that can catch you up just like that. They never worry about cameras. You want to know why? They're untouchable. She still thinks her and Chad are going to be freed from prison. All these charges are going to be dropped. She's going to go on to lead the 144,000 to whatever the hell she says is coming. No.
Were you able to determine what that item was?
Appeared to
Not
be
sure,
a
honestly.
tire.
The tire.
We'll keep watching this. Do they take another item into the storage unit as well before we move into the interior view?
The Jeep that they used, that was the Jeep that her daughter used to drive. Think on that for a minute. Leave and come back in. Just close the app and
Now,
come
from
right
this
back.
angle, were you able to really tell what it was that they brought in for that second item?
Not really from this angle.
Let's go then to the inside camera view, channel 11, video 32901.
This is
Is that the tire that we previously saw come out of the back of that Nissan Rogue?
Yes, that's the tire that
No.
Mr. Daybell is rolling
This
down
is Idaho.
into the storage unit.
Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the family. If you need instructions on stickers, just let me know. Yeah, this will be in Idaho. They went to a lot of states, so I just try to keep it by state, and I'm good. I'm like, okay, Arizona, Hawaii, Idaho. Her current husband, Chad, is also known as the Doomsday Prophet.
So we see them both carrying in something, one at each end.
Yes.
There's the self-proclaimed goddess herself, yep.
And those were the only two items they put in?
That's correct.
Yeah, now you see why we're so
We can
addicted to
go
them?
back to channel 3 to 33116.
If Catnip missed you saying thank you, I'll let her know. When you go to the
Is that
comment
them?
bar,
Leaving.
when you go to type in the comment bar,
Yes, ma'am.
there's the emoji for smile face.
And then
Next to
one of the
it,
driveways in there in channel 4.
we're trying to talk here. Next to it is the star. The star is the sub stickers. They have multiple cell phones. Nala just scared the crap out of me. I heard like breathing behind me. I thought it was like the ghost, but no, it's Nala. Her first trial was for her 2 children and her current husband's wife. Her second trial was in Arizona for her 4th husband. This trial is for her niece's former husband, except he's the only one that survived her.
Video 32605. Are we able to see the license plate like previously as it drove by that camera?
Yes.
Auntie Renee says, hi, Nana. She scared me. I genuinely was like, what the hell is that noise right behind
So if we
me?
stop it earlier, is that the same Nissan Rogue with the same license plate we've been discussing?
That's correct.
Want to break now instead of the next day?
Everybody's saying
All right,
hi,
let's take our afternoon recess, approximately 15 minutes. Please remember the admonition.
Nana. She's looking at me like, why are you bothering me, Mom? It's almost time for me to do my insulin, so I'm going to let this play for a few minutes. I got to go grab my stuff. I'll be right back. I'm not going to stay. Now you'll be on good girly? Yeah.
Anything we need to discuss before recess?
Nothing from the state.
She works hard for her money. Except she doesn't work. She just unalives people for money. me see, Will. Okay. Yeah, I know it's been that way for a couple days. And we're back.
Please be seated when you get to your seats. The jury is present. Please continue.
Thank you. So when we broke, we were looking at Exhibit 164, the videos that were obtained from the self-storage unit in Rexburg, Idaho. And we had completed watching the videos from October 2nd. So, Lieutenant, the same day that we have someone in Gilbert, Arizona, firing a rifle out of the back window of a Jeep without a spare tire, we see Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell putting a tire and what could be a bench seat into a storage unit that Lori Vallow rented.
That's correct.
So let's go to October
I don't
3rd
know.
then.
I think she will.
Let's start with channel 1, the 31049 video.
He's the one that helped find her children. If she's a bone to pick with anybody, it's gonna be him.
Is this the
Well,
same
one of them.
Nissan Rogue we've seen repeatedly enter?
Yes.
Think of it this way: does she want revenge?
And then we could go to channel 4, the 31110 video. This is again the driveway. We're able to see if we stop at the
Oh no! Stay safe out there.
license
guys.
plate of that Wrangler at 131120 is the same CRT number that we've talked about for the Nissan Rogue.
Yes.
If we go to channel 3, this is where we see
I
again the
agree.
Nissan, and we'll look at video 31105.
Ken, if you've got me addicted to this. Like I said, revenge. What is underneath my chair?
Is that sort of as we follow the vehicle through there, pulling up to the building with the C-52 in it?
Correct.
We see 2 people again get out of the vehicle here.
To the lip stuff. The next one.
If we can go to a hallway version, channel 11, 31149.
All your fault.
We see 2 people coming in. Is that going to unit C-52?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recognize who those 2 people are?
Yes, I do.
Who do you recognize those 2 people as?
That is Lori Vallow again and her brother, Alex Cox.
So we're now on October 3rd at 1:12 p.m.
Correct.
She may not use her baby voice on him because he's already investigated her. She may not use it. But will she open that door officially 100% of the way? She might.
What does it appear that Alex Cox is carrying out?
Looks like a seat,
Like a bench seat.
bench seat that's kind of folded.
So we could see the 2 parts of that.
Correct.
Yes, but this is a man that she's talked to. He's actually pretty close with her son, Kobe.
And if we can go to 31254.
Mm-mm. That was my favorite part of her second trial, was when she questioned Charles's lady friend. She said, all you talk about is me. She
What
says,
do we see being taken out now?
don't flatter yourself.
That is a tire that he's carrying.
I know, right?
So the previous day we'd seen Chad Daybell rolling the tire in. Here we see Alex Cox carrying it out.
Correct.
The previous day we had seen Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell carrying in a object of similar size to a bench seat.
Correct.
And today we saw Alex Cox carrying that out.
By himself, correct.
We could go to then the outside to show 31224, channel 3.
I make new stickers almost every day. Almost.
Does this show sort of them,
We're addicted.
Alex Cox taking those items out and putting it into that Nissan Rogue?
He has been covering these, yeah. And it's good for him, in my opinion. I think he needs to talk about it. Oh my gosh, where were you for Daryl Brooks? We've covered him too. I think we've covered him twice. Did you know he's no longer in Wisconsin prison? And he's representing himself on his appeal. I can't make this shit up. I need to double check my date book to make sure I have it down. He was moved to a different prison. I think it was South Dakota. But then, let me show you something you might recognize. Where is it at? There it is. I actually just took Daryl Brooks' sticker out of the stickers the other night because I needed it for one of these. People get sick of listening to me too, especially my family. Like, do you ever shut up? And I'm like, no, but it's your fault. You made me. Judge Darrow right there.
And then if we can show channel 1, 31310.
Now that's a judge that deserves Judge of the Air. Sure the hell is not Bev. It's a disgrace. Really? I hope that they get him. He was trying to get into Canada. I really hope to get him. I think for some reason, like the manhunt coverage, I think I'm manhunted out. I've covered too many of them.
We see her vehicle leaving.
Yeah, where were you? We
before
missed
3:15.
you.
Yes, ma'am.
Or 13:15, I guess.
Don't worry, I'll put the
which is
live up.
1:15 p.m.
Correct.
So if we saw in the first video we played for October 3rd, Lori Vallow, Alex Cox, and the Nissan arrive at 1:11 p.m. and we see them leaving about 1:15 p.m. This whole thing was about 4 minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
Got you. I'll
And
put
then
it up on YouTube.
the prior day, it was around 1:26 or so when we see Chad and Lori bring those items to the storage unit.
Yes.
So the seat and tire are in the storage unit for about 24 hours.
Yes.
And they're collected the day after someone drives a Jeep, parks it in front of Brandon Boudreau's house without a tire on it, and fires a rifle at Brandon Boudreau.
That's correct.
As part of the investigation, were local firing ranges contacted to see if Alex Cox had ever gone to any of them?
Yes.
And he had. And he still missed both shots, thank God.
Are you familiar with the Unified Sportsman Club?
Yes, I am.
Is that in Rexburg, Idaho?
It is. It's just west of Rexburg, probably about 10 minutes west.
Is that a place where you could practice shooting outdoors?
Yes, it's open to the public.
What'd you say? Sorry.
It's open to the public, I'm sorry.
Is it a place where you can shoot rifles outside?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not just like an indoor
Hi,
range.
Beansy.
Correct.
Okay. Were sign-in records for the Unified Sportsman Club, as well as an affidavit authenticating their sign-in records obtained?
Yes, they were.
Hi,
And in
aunties
going
and
through those
uncles.
records, did you initially see someone by the name of Alex Cox sign in on September 3rd
You had
of 2019 at the
Yes.
Unified Sportsman's Club?
Yes, I did.
Did he even provide his phone number?
He did.
Did you later see sign-ins on September 27th and
She
28th
won't.
that appeared familiar to you?
Yes, I did.
Were those sign-ins with just the initials CQUINT?
Yes.
Did you recognize that to be similar to Alex Cox's
That's the
personalized
mean
plates?
sissy. She doesn't
Yes, it was
like
just one letter
it.
off, so he was missing the initial P.
And I know later we'll talk about that, but was there searches that were found by Alex Cox for places to go shooting around this time period?
Yes, there were.
State will move to admit Exhibit 169.
Any objection to 169?
No objection.
169 is admitted.
The one for the manhunt. They found his dog.
Thank you.
Is the dog still alive? Please say yes.
So were these sort of copies of records that were provided from the Unified Sportsman Club in Rexburg, Idaho, of their sign-in roster?
Yes.
And do we see on September 3rd and Alex Cox at 2:50 p.m.?
Yes.
Yes,
And
it is
the
still alive.
480-351-9120, is that the phone number that has been associated with Alex Cox?
Yes.
That's his cell phone number.
Correct.
Same type of records.
Thank you. I'm surprised that he left the dog alive. The man that did the unthinkable, just like Chad Doberman, unalived his 3 kids. That's the manhunt that they're saying they're closing in on him. I just don't know if I would admit to cover another manhunt. That's
On September 27th, did you note a CQUINT at 3:50?
Yes.
And on September 28th, did you notice that same CQUINT at 3:10?
Yes.
So just a few days before the shooting of Brandon Boudreaux, you noted some sign-ins that appeared to be one letter off from Alex Cox's license plate number
Correct.
when he is searching for shooting ranges.
Yes, ma'am.
We have heard about a burner phone that was purchased at a Walmart store.
Whoops, sorry,
Are you
baby.
familiar with the Walmart store in Idaho Falls?
Yes, it's on Utah Avenue in Idaho Falls.
Is there a Walmart in Rexburg?
There is.
Is the Walmart in Idaho Falls a bigger?
No.
Honey,
How
baby
far is
boy.
Idaho Falls from Rexburg?
About 25 miles south.
Now, as part of the investigation, did you become familiar with a phone number that was used at the time of the shooting to call
What?
Chad Daybell?
Yes.
Started with a 304 area code.
Correct.
Were you familiar with those records being obtained and them indicating that that phone had been purchased at the Walmart at Idaho Falls, store number 5494?
Yes.
Did law enforcement or police obtain a copy of the receipt from September 25th of 2019 for that burner phone that was purchased at that Walmart store 5494?
Yes.
And that is the phone that was later documented to be used in Gilbert, Arizona
That's correct.
on October 2nd of 2019.
Yes, ma'am.
I hope they do catch that asshole
Exhibit
there.
170, I can admit it pursuant to 802 and 9 or 803 and 902 with its authentication.
Any objection?
Yeah, just a foundation, Your Honor.
What was the number again?
It is 170.
170 is admitted.
The word of the day is foundation.
So 170 is got the business records affidavit from Walmart itself, correct?
Correct.
And then provided with that was a receipt for the phone that we've been discussing.
Yes.
Now, do each phone have, I guess, were you provided with IMEI numbers and MEID numbers that are sort of like a VIN number for a phone.
That's correct.
And is that how it was determined that this phone with the 304 area code was purchased at Walmart?
Yes.
So once you learned that, you were able to then obtain a receipt to show the purchase itself.
That's right.
Does it show this was purchased at 9/25 of 2019?
Yes, it does.
1917, what is that normal
Hi,
people time?
Peter.
1910 is 710.
710. And then was this cash?
Yes.
So it couldn't be traced to someone who bought it.
Correct.
Only
And then we see
smart
the
move
store
she
number
made.
here, correct?
Yes.
Exhibit 180 has previously been admitted. These are the track phone records for the 304-960-5998 number. I'm going to go through a few of these with you. So in Exhibit 190,
What's the matter,
We see-
sweet boy?
that this phone was from Walmart
What's
store.
wrong, honey?
Correct.
And is that the same store number that we're talking about for the Walmart receipt that we just saw as Exhibit 170?
Yes.
And does this show, again, the same time, date and time for that purchase?
Correct.
Where you going? Okay, have fun.
See the best way to do this.
Top
So
back.
Exhibit 180, we have a serial number as well there that's listed, correct?
Correct.
Hi, Lori.
And do we see this same 352-069-108-185-769 number here
Yes.
as the phone that was activated?
Yes.
So this receipt then relates to the
What's
track
the
phone
matter?
records.
Correct.
Today,
And in fact, in Exhibit 180, do we see that same Walmart superstore that we've been talking about that you told us about on Utah Avenue in Idaho Falls?
Yes.
And again, the same store number, 5494,
Correct.
same date and time,
Yes.
and the same account number that we have seen both on the receipt as well as the other track phone with
Yes.
the 769 ending there.
Yes.
I've been so deep into the two trials that we're covering at the same time that I'm totally disconnected. So for once, you guys are my news source, so thank you. That just makes me think of that Amish school shooting from way back when. I wish they would stop.
So when law enforcement was learning of this phone that was in Gilbert at the time of the shooting of Brandon Boudreaux, you were able to determine that it was purchased up in Idaho Falls on September 25th of 2019.
Correct.
That's just heartbreaking.
Now, we have heard earlier in this courtroom that Melanie Boudreaux had flown from Arizona up to Idaho on September 26th. Was a search warrant written and executed to obtain flight records from Allegiant Air?
Yes, they were.
And did Allegiant Air provide records to show that Melanie Boudreaux flew from Mesa Gateway Airport to Idaho Falls on September 26th of 2019?
Yes.
Any messages from today I have not gotten because I've been here since 10 this morning.
Did those records show that Boudreaux flew from Idaho Falls, Idaho, back to Mesa on Sunday, September 29th of 2019?
Yes, they did.
No, we talked about that one, didn't we?
Was an affidavit from Allegiant Air obtained authenticating those and indicating they are kept in the normal course of their business?
Yes, there was.
State will move to admit these pursuant to 803 and 902.
I think there was a small one in Illinois
171.
yesterday too. I'm
Objection.
not sure though.
Relevance, Your Honor.
The exhibit's admitted.
One of our favorite words.
So again,
I
we
think
have
we
the
did.
affidavit. Do we see here record showing that Melanie Boudreau flew from Mesa Gateway Airport on September 26th to Idaho Falls?
Yes.
And then the return flight back to Mesa Gateway Airport from Idaho Falls on September 29th of 2019?
Yes.
And you told us Idaho Falls, is that the closest major airport to Rexburg?
That's correct.
We'd heard Rexburg has a small airport. Does it have commercial flights there?
No, no commercial flights flying to Rexburg.
So the closest commercial flights would be Idaho Falls.
Yes.
Right.
As this investigation continued, was a search warrant written on December 30th of 2019 to obtain the Google Gmail records relating to Alex Cox's cell phone, the 480-351-9120?
Yes, it was.
And was it learned that he had an email address of Homer J. Maximus at gmail.com?
Correct.
Had you seen
How much of a narcissist do you have to be to name your email account Homer J. Maximus? Keep in mind, not his first or middle name are Homer or J or Maximus.
that Gmail account when you executed the search warrant back on November 26th?
Yes, so there was a device found in apartment 175 in the garage amongst Alex's personal belongings that still was signed in under the Homer J. Maximus Gmail account. So we were able to confirm that that was in fact one of Alex's Gmail accounts.
It's his alter ego.
And were those Homer J. Maximus at gmail.com records that contained GPS and Wi-Fi mapping information provided to the FBI CAST analyst Nick Valance?
Yes.
And did those records contain data and information, both Wi-Fi, GPS, as well as searches, maps, and other activities for the time range around the shooting on October 2nd of 2019?
Yes, it did.
Do you guys think so far they've made enough connections between Lori and Alex for this to get Lori too? Can never get Alex because he's already gone, but I'm glad to finally see her making more connections because I was getting a little nervous for a while there.
Now, when you were looking at these, let me ask you this. Did you go through these Google or Gmail records for Homer J. Maximus?
Yes, I was tasked with going through each of the records associated with Homer J. Maximus.
When you obtained those records from Google, did they have an affidavit authenticating them?
They did.
Did you look at those records to see if there were things in there that seemed to be relevant to this investigation for the October 2nd, 2019 shooting?
Yes, I did.
Did they contain things such as searches for places to shoot near Rexburg?
Yes.
Did it contain searches for things like window tint shops?
Yes, it did.
Did it contain searches for things like how to load your own ammunition?
Yes.
Best projectiles for long range?
Yes.
Did it have searches for ballistic charts and ballistic trajectory calculators?
Yes.
Did it have searches for Manshot and Gilbert?
Yes.
Were there maps to Dan's window tinting?
There were.
Was there maps and searches for 3875 East Phelps Road in Gilbert, Arizona?
Yes, there were.
When you looked at the timing of those searches and the maps, was there searches for 3875 East Phelps Road in Gilbert, Arizona, both on October 1st in the evening as well as in the morning of October 2nd prior to the shooting?
Yes, there were.
after the time of the shooting at 9:13 or 9:14 a.m. Gilbert time, Arizona time, were there searches for cities and locations in both Arizona as well as Utah and Idaho?
Yes.
Did those searches appear to
But we weren't seeing any tangible connections. That's why I've been so nervous. It's day 4, and that was the first connection we've seen.
be a route back to Idaho Falls?
Yes, it appeared they were going north.
Was the last search, in fact, Idaho Falls?
Correct.
I was kind of nervous, I'm
Based
not going to
upon
lie.
your review of these homerjmaximus@gmail.com documents, did they appear to be related to Alex Cox?
Yes, they did.
The state will move to admit Exhibit 174 pursuant to 803 and 902.
Any objection?
I wonder what the J stands for.
74 is in the 4, right?
174, yes.
It sure the hell does.
As part of the documentation that was provided by Google
Jupiter.
in their authentication, did they provide subscriber information?
Yes, they did.
So we have a subscriber of Alex Cox for the homerjmaximus@gmail.com.
Correct.
That's what I was thinking too,
Start with-
honestly.
The Chrome searches for the Homer J. Maximus. Do we see on September 27th a
Homer J.
Chrome view for minute of angle?
Yes.
On September 28th, were there different searches for ammunition and calculators?
Yes.
At the end, we see a ballistic trajectory calculator from September 28th.
Correct.
Now, just so we're clear, this says September 28th at 3:35 a.m., but it says UTC. Does that reflect Idaho time, UTC?
No,
Or is that
if the search was done in Idaho, it would reflect Idaho time. UTC is a Universal Time Coordinated is what it stands for. And depending on where you are at, it's either like Idaho is -6 and Arizona would be -7 hours UTC.
So if we're looking at something here that shows a search for a ballistic trajectory calculator on September 28th at 3:35 a.m., would we have to go back, subtract 6 hours to determine what time it would have been in Idaho?
That's correct.
So I'm gonna use my fingers because I don't know how else to do it. So it'd be 2, 1, 12:30, 11:30, 10:30, 9:30 p.m. on September 27th.
Correct.
Okay. Do we have a shooter's calculator, ballistic trajectory calculator search on September 28th at what is shown as 5:34 p.m. again UTC?
Yes.
So that would be the morning hours or before noon on September 28th Idaho time.
Okay, nobody ever claimed that they were the smartest criminals. They clearly don't know how to properly get rid of evidence. I just want to put that out there.
Correct.
And then is there on September 30th
7 here.
a search? And again, so we show 10:10 p.m. So we -6, we're looking at 4 in the afternoon for Phoenix weather.
Correct.
Yeah, that too.
Let's look at the searches next,
True.
associated with this time period, or some of them, leading up to the shooting. So you had talked about the fact that this email associated with Alex Cox that is subscribed to Alex Cox searched for places to shoot near Rexburg on the 23rd of September.
Correct.
And we see multiple shooting places to shoot searches.
Correct.
In fact, I'm going to pull it back a little bit. Do we see even outdoor places to shoot near Rexburg, shooting Rexburg, multiple searches of that variation
It
around the
needs more
23rd of
shake
September?
up.
multiple searches and sites that are also visited.
So, and we can see searched for and visited.
Correct.
Do we see on September 23rd a search for Tint Shop, Idaho Falls?
Yes.
And then we see a auto tint near me search as well.
Correct.
The 23rd of September, did you later learn that that is the day that Alex Cox reached out to Dan Moss's Auto Tint
Yes.
in Rexburg, Idaho?
Correct.
Some of the other searches that you saw in this Homer J. Maximus Gmail that is associated to Alex Cox, things searched for YouTube on how to load your own ammunition, as well as viewing a video on how to load your own ammunition.
Yes.
As we move on to, although it says September 25th in Idaho time, would that be on the 24th actually?
Correct.
Yeah.
We see a search or a visited site for best projectile for long range with 300
Just
Win Mag,
doing my skincare.
and then a visited site regarding the 300 Winchester Magnum load data.
Yes.
And September 25th is 7 days before the shooting of Brandon Boudreaux.
Yes.
Do we then see different searches on a 5.56 millimeter at 500 yards, 5.56 bullet drop at 500 yards on the 28th, or again, if we calculate it to Idaho time, the 27th?
Here's a question for you. If they really think that they're doing God's work and following God's order, is that why they didn't try to hide anything they were doing? They didn't think it mattered? Scary
Correct.
thoughts, you know?
Another visited site of a ballistic trajectory calculator. And again, would that have been September 27th?
Yes.
And so this is one of the days where you saw the sign in at the
You know
Sportsman,
me
the
too
Unified
well.
Sportsman's Club of that CQUINT,
Correct.
and an outdoor range where you could fire a rifle.
Yes, ma'am.
Now
We
we
already
show
did for
October
one of them.
3rd of 2019, man shot in Gilbert, Arizona. Now, since this is 2:46 a.m.,
Not just Lori, Chad. Because who did he appoint to be Lori's protector? Her brother.
Universal time, if we put this to Idaho time, we would have to go back 6 hours.
Correct.
So if we went to 1:46, 12:46, 11:46, 10, 9, 8:46 p.m. Idaho time.
Yes.
And if it was Arizona, you said it was -7.
Yes, ma'am.
So 7:46 Arizona time p.m. on October 2nd.
Keep in mind, Lori was also telling people that she no longer had to repent. Nothing she did was a sin.
That's correct.
The day of the shooting.
Right.
And we have a couple different searches for that around that same time period, within a couple minutes of each other.
Yes.
It's scary.
And in fact, is one of the last searches that we included in here, a news on Brandon Boudreaux.
Yes.
So again, although it says October 3rd at 2:53 a.m. Universal time, that would be, depending on Idaho or Arizona time, 7 or 8 p.m. or almost 8 or 9 p.m. at that time on October 2nd,
That's correct.
that the Google account, Homer J. Maximus, that has been subscribed to Alexander Cox, associated to him, and that you saw on a device, is searching for shootings in the East Valley, in Gilbert, and Brandon Boudreaux.
Yes.
They weren't even careful. They didn't even try to
And
hide
lastly,
it.
as part of the Google records that were provided in reference to Alex Cox's phone number, that 480-351-9120, that is associated to the Homer J. Maximus at Gmail account, were there maps that were part of the records sent to you by Google.
Yes.
And so do we see on September 25th, a search for Dan's window tinting and then a map with directions there?
Correct.
And in your investigation, did you learn that on September 25th, a Jeep Wrangler 2018 with Texas plate LWD 0997 was taken to
She is.
Dan's window tinting?
Yes, I did.
And the phone number that made that appointment was Alex Cox's phone number, 480-351-9120?
That's correct.
Though I still don't approve of her lack of objections.
Was there a map with directions?
I still don't approve of her lack of objections when Brandon was being questioned by Lori. It was despicable. I cannot believe that he had to sit there and answer to her. But he also confronted what she did. So I think that that was a step in the right direction for him, but it should never have been forced.
In the Google records for Alex Cox's Homer J. Maximus Gmail account on October 1st for 2500 South Power Road, Suite 215 in Mesa, Arizona.
Yes,
So we see it as October 1st of 2019 at 8:58 p.m. What would that be Arizona time?
so it would be minus 7 hours, which would be 1:58 p.m.
I just want to state, I know I'm over here smiling like a psycho, but there's a reason. Every time they say his email address is Homer J. Maximus, I cannot stop but helping the smile because inside I'm laughing at it. I'm sorry. It's nothing else. I'm not a psycho. Just clearing the
So
air.
at 1:58 p.m., Alex Cox's Gmail is searching for directions to this Power Road location.
Yes, ma'am.
You testified earlier about a receipt from a Los Favoritos on Power Road in Mesa with a time and date of October 1st at 1:12 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
If you think about it, his name was Alex. Alex. And he chose Homer J. Maximus. I just can't with that.
And that Los Favoritos on Power Road was in Mesa as well.
That's correct.
Thank you, Stacy.
As we continue with the maps,
Right.
do you now begin seeing searches for and directions to 3875 East Phelps Street in Gilbert, Arizona?
Yes, ma'am.
So although this says October 2nd, when we look at the 2:52 a.m. Universal Time, what time would this be in Arizona and what day?
That would be October 1st at 5:52 p.m. Is that right?
Or 7:52?
It's
I use the fingers, no
combination.
shame.
7:52. Yes, 7:52.
All right. So 7:52 p.m. on October 1st, Alex Cox's Gmail account is searching for Brandon Boudreaux's address
That's correct.
and then asking for directions to his address.
Correct.
And in fact, are there multiple searches that evening
You and me both.
for that
Jessica.
address?
Yes.
I went to school for journalism. Huge mistake. What just happened here? Don't worry, it fixes. I really miss my calling. I know, right? Just to go from Alex to Homer J. Maximus. And that just always will make me giggle. I can't help it. It's what I did for quite a while. They don't tell you when you choose journalism that it's just like any other business.
Arizona, beginning to go all the way up to Idaho Falls.
Yes, there were.
So again, now we see October 2nd at 4:55 p.m. We go backwards. 3, 2, 1, noon, 11, 10, 9, 40, or 9:55 a.m. There's a search for Arizona Farm Road, right?
Right.
Then as we go further on, we see a search for Pine Top, Lakeside, Arizona. So again, if we take 7 off, we're looking at now 11:38 a.m. on October 2nd.
I can't see that on my screen.
I
Sorry.
apologize for that. Let me push it up. So if it's 6:28 Universal Time and we minus 7, we're looking at 11:38 a.m. on October 2nd.
That's correct.
And then we see that it was viewed in Google Maps, right?
Yes.
Then we see a search for Holbrook, Arizona.
Correct.
And then we see directions to Holbrook.
Correct.
Aaron, did
As
you
we
feed the
continue going
cats
through his
twice?
records, you see a search for probably a typo, Moa. And then later we see Moab, Utah.
Yes.
And so now we're looking at October 2nd, 10:22. So Arizona time, we're looking at 3:22 in the afternoon.
Correct.
Or minus 6, we'd be looking at 4:22 Idaho time.
Correct.
Now, Universal time, we're still looking now at October 3rd. We're looking at a search for Fillmore, Utah. Is Utah below Idaho?
It is.
Directions to Fillmore, Utah.
Yes.
And then we can see it was viewed in Google Maps. And was the final search that is included in these records or this exhibit to Idaho Falls Airport, what we show as October 3rd, 5:55 a.m.
Correct.
Guys, interesting. Scrolling across the bottom of the screen, that just that her first trial is available by audio, just not video.
That would be October 2nd, Idaho time.
Correct.
When we were looking at these searches, the timing for the search for the shooting in Gilbert or the shooting for Brandon
Oh
Boudreaux,
boy.
would that have been while this phone in this vehicle and Alex Cox were still driving from Arizona back to Idaho Falls?
Yes.
This is the third and final. Aaron, did you feed the cats 2 cans earlier? Do I need to feed them another one, or did you get it?
Sure, defendant exhibit 175. I can have my variable approach.
Okay. I'm gonna go do that now. I'll be right back.
Is that a map that shows the searches we just went through that occurred the morning of October 2nd, starting with Brandon Boudreaux's address at 3875 East Phelps Road in Gilbert, Arizona,
Yes.
and then going to the Arizona Farm Road location,
Correct.
the Pine Top search?
I don't see the pine top.
Holbrook,
Holbrook, I do.
Moab,
Yes, ma'am.
Fillmore,
Yes.
Idaho Falls?
Yes.
And do they reflect the times on the Google records in the UTC?
Yes.
State will move to admit exhibit 175.
Any objection?
No objection.
175 is admitted.
So for those of us that may have failed geography, are we able to see Arizona? I'm going to take this out of the shiny package, maybe.
Enjoy your dinner, kids.
So this is Arizona here with the search for the Phelps Road and the time, again, that's under the UTC.
Correct.
And then these searches from there for the
I should
Arizona
get
Farms
my
Road
corner
that we
quick.
discussed and saw,
Yes.
the Holbrook,
Yes.
Moab,
Yes.
Fillmore, and
There
Idaho
still
Falls.
is.
Yes, ma'am.
Does that show a path back towards
Abby,
Idaho Falls and Rexburg area, consistent with when we Cox with Lori Vallow at that storage unit?
Yes, it does.
We heard that you, about the Homer J. Maximus at Gmail account, Also on December 30th, the same time that that search warrant was sent to Google for any Gmail or Google accounts associated to Alex Cox's phone number, did that search warrant also request any Google Gmail records relating to Lori Vallow's cell phone number, 480-962-9562?
Yes, it did.
And did Google provide records for the lollytimeforever@gmail.com records?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, 100%.
First. This is Exhibit 172 and 173. The overall records that you obtained from those search warrants for the Robert J. Maximus and the Lolly Time Forever.
I hate it when my throat makes noises. Do you notice how when she drops stuff off at the desk, she literally
move
drops it?
To admit Exhibit 172 and 173 pursuant to 803 and 902 as the Google records for the Homer J. Maximus and the Lolly Time Forever accounts.
Any objection?
Just Foundation and Crawford issue, Your Honor.
All right,
Big
they're
words.
admitted.
And you told us for the Homer J. Maximus that you had provided that to the cast agent and that you had reviewed all those documents in the Homer J. Maximus, right?
Correct.
When you obtained the lollytimeforever@gmail.com records, did you review all those as well?
I reviewed most of them, yes.
Did those contain, let me start. So we said that those were tied to Lori Vallow's cell phone number of 480-962-9562.
Correct.
And did those contain information such as searches looking for units at 565 Pioneer Road?
Yes, they did.
And other searches to,
What do you mean they need a long vacation? It's only day 4 of the trial. We all need a long vacation. I don't know about them, but we all do.
identify the person, Lori Vallow, as searching for areas within Rexburg, Idaho?
Yes.
Is that consistent with the time that she was in Rexburg, Idaho?
Yes.
And searches for a place to live
That's
at the time when she moved to Rexburg and moved into that 565 Pioneer Road.
Correct.
Did it also contain on September 30th of 2019 a search for how to get the backseat out of my Jeep?
Yes, it did.
Did it also contain a search for, on October 2nd of 2019, Gilbert News?
Yes.
When life calls for necessary add-ons, your home can pitch in to help with a new
Email records that were provided to you by
I was about to say, I pay very good for YouTube Premium. Why the hell am I getting a commercial? It was them, not me.
Google as a result of that search warrant.
That's correct.
That's why we don't get any commercials. I pay for YouTube Premium because I cannot stand the commercials. They're always the most inappropriate commercials, too.
And like the Homer J. Maximus, did Google provide an affidavit authenticating those records as well?
Yes, they did.
And did they also provide a subscriber information showing this as subscribed to Lolly Vallow?
Yes.
State will move to admit 191 pursuant to 803 and 92.
Any objection?
Just the same foundational objection to
It's admitted.
the search.
Like, we'll be sitting here talking about a really disturbing case, and then there will come a commercial for Summer's Eve. At just the most inappropriate times.
So again, we have the authentication record pursuant to the search warrant that you've discussed, correct?
Correct.
You were provided with subscriber information for Lolly Vallow at lollytimeforever@gmail.com, correct?
Correct.
Were you aware that Lori Vallow had provided this email address to her brother Alex Cox previously?
Yes.
Some of the searches that you saw in this lollytimeforever@gmail gmail.com address that was tied to both Lori Vallow's cell phone number and provided by her to her brother, Alex Cox. Did those start as far back as August 15th in terms of showing the relevance to moving to Rexburg, Idaho?
Yes,
Probably.
You learned and we've heard of the fact that she resided at 565 Pioneer Road in Rexburg, Idaho.
yes,
And did she do several searches in the weeks leading up to, or in these weeks in August, for apartments in that complex?
yes, she did.
So even on the 27th of August, we're seeing a search again for 565 Pioneer Road in Rexburg, or Pioneer in Rexburg, Idaho.
Yes,
Did you see searches for and visit to the UPS or United States Postal Service change of address?
yes,
Was that consistent with your understanding of when Ms. Vallow moved into the residence based upon the documentation that we
Jessica, I think we're all going to miss cross because I don't think they're going to do it tonight.
previously admitted?
yes, it was.
Again, we see searches for that 565 Pioneer, Rexburg, Idaho.
Correct.
Were there other searches in the area again showing that she is looking for searching and visiting places in Rexburg, Idaho? Here we see Walgreens.
I feel you.
Correct.
You talked to us about Idaho Falls. Is that one of the places where you can go near Rexburg to see movies?
Yes, it is.
Unless we're just catching up with the live. Could be.
Now, you told us that you are the person who impounded Lori Vallow's 2018 Jeep Wrangler, correct?
That's correct.
On September 30th at 11:14 p.m. UTC, did this Gmail account, Lollytime Forever, that is tied to Lori Vallow's cell phone number and that she gave to her brother, search how to get the back seat out of my Jeep Wrangler?
Yes, you did.
So if we're talking Idaho time and we go back 6, where are we at for that for time?
So it'd be 5:14.
PM.
This is why I asked, do you guys think she just didn't care? She didn't think she'd get in trouble when caught because she's the chosen one? Or do you think she's just stupid? Literally everything that they Googled.
Yeah.
So September 30th, we're talking just a couple days now before the shooting of Brandon Boudreaux.
That's correct.
And do we see, in fact, she visited this site, Jeep Wrangler JK rear seat removal, how to DIY YouTube video.
Yes.
And that is basically a few seconds after this first search.
Yes, ma'am.
When we were watching those videos from the storage unit, did you see something being brought into the storage unit by Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell on October 2nd that appeared to look like a rear seat?
Yes, I did.
And on October 3rd, when we were viewing those videos from the self-storage unit, did you see Lori Vallow and Alex Cox removing something that appeared to be a rear seat from the storage unit?
Yes.
Like drop
On
moment.
October 3rd at 2:13 a.m. UTC time, do you see a search for Gilbert News?
Yes, I do.
So since this is 2:13 a.m., is this actually on October 2nd? And if we go back
8:13.
8:13 p.m.?
Correct.
So 8:13 p.m. on October 2nd, Lori Vallow is searching for, or Lori Vallow's Gmail account is searching for Gilbert, Arizona News and Gilbert, Arizona News breaking news local headlines.
Correct. She was searching for Gilbert News and visited the site as well.
Okay, so searched for it and then went and visited it just a few seconds later.
Yes.
And then when we were viewing the videos of that storage unit, this is 8 p.m.-ish on the 2nd. The next day at 1:15-ish is when we see Lori Vallow and Alex Cox taking that back seat and the tire out of the storage unit
Correct.
and putting that into her Nissan Rogue.
That's correct.
The state has no other questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right. Cross.
No questions, Your Honor.
What?
Questions for this witness from any member of the jury? I'm not seeing any, sir. You can step down.
You're gonna pass on
Right
that,
for the
Lori?
All right, given that it's a little bit after 4:15, we'll recess for the evening. Let me just check. I think we can start again tomorrow at 10:15, but let me double check that. You can step down, sir. if you
I
want.
don't think she cared about the cameras.
Plan on starting at 10:15 tomorrow morning. Please remember the admonition.
I did too. I did too. I'm surprised. I'm shocked. I know, but I thought she was going to try to get revenge on him this way. Let's see what happens when the jury leaves. Thank you,
All right, please be
Joanne.
seated. The jury is no longer present. I'm looking at the state's witness
She
list
didn't
and the
ask me
pretrial statement.
questions.
I'm assuming from the context of some of the questions that have been asked of witnesses that you're still calling Nicholas Balance.
Correct. He will be the state's last witness, Your Honor, tomorrow.
Is that the final witness tomorrow morning?
Yes.
All right, so defense, if you're calling witnesses, they would need to be here tomorrow, probably right after lunch. And we'll talk about tomorrow when the state rests, if the defense is calling witnesses or putting on a case, et cetera. So please review those final jury instructions tonight.
Judge, would we, if the defense doesn't call witnesses, would we go straight into closings tomorrow afternoon?
That would be my intent.
Okay.
All right, anything else from the state,
No, Your Honor.
from the defense?
She didn't call witnesses in her last trial, so they could very well be doing their closing arguments tomorrow. I believe the prosecutor said she has one more witness.
No, Your
No?
Honor.
Okay, we'll see everyone tomorrow. We'll try to get started at 10:15 a.m. Again, thank you.
She said that this wasn't going to be a long trial, Trina K did. She wasn't messing around. No, she chose not to. A totally non-Lori move. Yeah, one more. Wow. So uncharacteristic. Oh my God, I cannot finish that thought. I cannot say the word tonight. It's just not like Lori, okay? It's just not like Lori to not question someone who, in her eyes, did her wrong. Let's see. He was saying goodbye for the night. They're done for today. I cannot believe that she did not question the lieutenant. You think? Okay, we need to take a bet. Hold on, I'll put a poll up. You guys tell me, do you think that this time Lori will present a defense? If you do, smile face. If you do not, hit the cry face. You gotta physically touch it. If you think that Lori will call witnesses, she'll present her case for the defense, the smile face. If you don't think she will, the cry face. Her last trial, she did not provide a defense. You guys are all thinking history is going to repeat it. Oh boy, one of you. There we go, one of you. I don't know. I want to say I think that, but then because it's opposite day, clearly everything I see is opposite. I know she sure don't. Unless for some peculiar reason she calls her own niece the person who she just laid all this on the... She just threw under the bus. The rehearsal dinner's over. Yeah, we just finished with Lori. We just finished with Lori. Let me see what else we have here. It's getting close. I'm gonna miss her calling. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it here. I am tired. Clearly, look at these bags. I've got extra bags. No, I'll be putting that up as soon as we're done with the live. I had it downloading before I started this live, so I still have to edit and upload the 2 lives to YouTube, but I'll be doing that after I end here. So I still have some more work to do, but it'll be okay. I'll see you guys tomorrow where we pick up Karen Reed at 10 a.m. Central Time. Yeah, true. I'll see you guys bright and early. Well, it's not really that early, but I'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Have a good night, guys. Thank you so much.